Right, so good to have you back. It's still the Wednesday edition of the Good Morning Cross River, and we are live here in the city of Calabar. Now, we are being joined now by the ASUU chairman, Unicol branch, Dr. Barrister Edo, John Edo. Doctor, good morning, and so good to have you join us.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning.
Doctor, you've been a regular guest on the Good Morning Cross River. Remember that the last time we had you was when ASUU called for a 4-week strike, a 4-week warning strike, and we had you on the show. Then we also had the 8 weeks that was rolled over, and that elapsed on Monday.
Yes.
We were hoping that maybe the warning strike would come to an end, but we saw 12 weeks rolled over. What has been the intervals? Let's look at the 8 weeks. Let's assume that the first 4 weeks the federal government did partition, but what happened during the 8 weeks that students stayed back? What were the negotiations? What were the meetings going on for at least for the 8 weeks before we had these 12 weeks?
The same level of docility that we saw during the first 4 weeks, the same level of irresponsiveness that we saw during the first 4 weeks. That was exactly what repeated during the 8 weeks that was rolled over at the expiration of the first 4 weeks. You know, in fact, the apathy in terms of concern, in terms of passion to address the demands, the concerns of ASUU in the last 8 weeks became worse. You know, because political activities for the Nigerian leaders had heightened. They were busy picking forms, 40 million, 100 million to run. The political parties generating 3 billion naira from one position from aspirant, and before you cascade it down to other positions, you see the number of billions that the political parties are raking in from aspirants. So why will they even engage ASUU? Why will they engage ASUU? No meaningful engagement, no meaningful engagement. And that actually necessitated the rollover by 16 weeks. If 4 weeks was not enough for you to do anything, we said, okay, let's extend it. Let's give you 8 weeks so you could do something. 8 weeks with nothing. We said, okay, take 12 weeks this time. Let's see. No engagement. To answer your question in very simple terms, no meaningful engagement in the past 8 weeks.
Okay, at some point, the Minister of Labor had a meeting with some unions in the universities, and that was last weekend. And he said that by Monday, he should be having a discussion with ASUU, hoping that that was like giving light, hoping that there will be light at the end of the tunnel for Nigerian students. But was he just making Nigerians feel relieved that there was going to be
obviously
so because by Monday it was something very different.
Obviously. Today's Wednesday. We have not seen any invitation from the Minister of Labor,
and he's running for president.
He's running for president. Someone who has been unable to take charge of a microscopic sphere that he's saddled with a small responsibility as Minister of Labor, now wants to saddle upon himself the elephant called Nigeria. One begins to wonder how we are reasoning here. In fact, he declared his aspiration for presidency or ambition for presidency at the time when he was showing his weakest point, where he could not resolve the industrial action between ASUU and the federal government. At the time when other university-based unions are declaring strike, it was that time that the Minister of Labor declared his ambition to run for presidency. It is a contradiction in terms. It is unbelievable. It is incredible.
Let's look at this issue, because we saw on the social media space, I don't know how, if that was maybe a comedy taken too far, that His Excellency the President is not even aware that ASUU is on strike. But if he's aware or not, but let us look at the point here. He is the President. If one of his employees is not doing well, which is the Labor Minister, what has the President done to ensure that the Nigerian students, of which he is the #1 citizen, are back to school? Because this will be rolling for about 6 months if care is not taken. What's the president doing? If one of his staff or his employees or appointees is not doing well, can't he intervene?
Joe, that would be difficult for me to answer what the president is doing. Maybe Femi Adesina, his spokesman, or Garba Shehu, or any one of them would be in a better position to answer what the president is doing when any of his appointees or aides or officers is not doing well. I don't know what he's doing. I have not seen anything to suggest to me that he's doing anything. I have not heard him talk about it. I've not seen even in action, not even in body language. I don't know what he's doing. Maybe any of his spokespersons can say what he's doing behind the curtains. But for us as a union, we have not seen anything he has done. Nigerian students have not seen anything he has done. Nigerians generally, parents, religious leaders, traditional rulers, they have not seen anything he has done. If anything had been done, we would be on strike today. We would not. So I don't know what he has done either.
Okay, recently also the call for renegotiation of the terms, the 2009. What is the basis of calling for a renegotiation?
No basis. No basis. No basis as far as ASUU is concerned. Now, this is what happened. There is this 2009 agreement signed between ASUU and the federal government. It was signed in 2009. That is why it is called ASUU Federal Government 2009 Agreement. And there is a clause in that agreement that says that at the expiration of every 3 years from 2009, that this agreement should be reviewed. That agreement was not reviewed in spite of repeated reminders by way of letters sent to the federal government to see the need to review this agreement to come to terms with prevailing realities, both economic, social, and otherwise. It was only in 2017 that the federal government saw the need to constitute a committee to review that agreement. That committee was headed by Dr. Wale Babalakin, SAN, saddled with the responsibility of reviewing this agreement. That's the 2009 ASUU Federal Government Agreement. Wale Babalakin carried on like an emperor. He carried on like an Egyptian pharaoh. He carried on like a dictator. And we wanted to detect the pace of every. Why was it called a negotiation then? We could have just sent this thing to, since you are a senior advocate of Nigeria, and asked you to give your opinion. Why was a committee constituted? ASUU took exception to it. Nigerians saw the need, the federal government saw the need, and kept him aside. They removed him. From 2017, when Wale Babalakin's committee was constituted, he was removed in 2020. 3 years after, Wale Babalakin was unable to review that document. Until when he was kicked out, Professor Jubril Munzali was now brought up, say, please, this same thing which Wale Babalakin failed to do, come and help us do it. Within a few months, Professor Jubril Munzali and his committee, they concluded the renegotiation, signed a report on the 17th of May last year. Signed a report on the 17th of May last year and submitted to the federal government on the review of what? Of the 2009 agreement. Now, the report had been sent to you, federal government. What we were expecting to do is that you now translate this report to implementable clauses on the salary structure of university workers, on this, on that. You put it in implementable clauses and implement. And that is the position of ASUU till now. And then, having given you this background, have you seen the uselessness of constituting the Professor Nimi Briggs committee to still review the same thing? It started with Wale Babalakin, went to Munzali, now Nimi Briggs, the same document. There was no basis for it. It rather shows government antics, strategy of delay in time and all of that. They are not willing to do anything in the education sector. They are not willing at all. They are not willing. How does it sound? Does it sound immoral to you, to me, and to anybody who is listening to us now, that a professor at the bar, his salary is 416,000 naira. 416,000 naira. A professor at the bar. That is the bar, the point beyond which you can't go. That is our own generals. 416,000. And when we are telling these people to review this thing, and they are foot dragging, yet they are coughing out millions to buy papers and call forms.
Let me quickly come in there, Dr. Edo. It's becoming very worrisome because this strike has lingered for more than 3 months now without adding this rollover 12 weeks now. The airline operators of Nigeria over the weekend, called for a 2-day strike that was supposed to start on Monday and end on Tuesday. But we saw the speed the federal government, weighed in to ensure that that strike would not hold. Why are they not using the same speed to settle us? What is the problem? Is it that because they fly more often than not, but they don't have their wards and children in the public educational sector in Nigeria? Because if they use the same speed they used to stop AON from going on strike, why can't they use that same effort with ASU?
Very unfortunate. That then is a categorical and portentous manifestation of the interest of the Nigerian leaders. Where lies their interest? You heard yesterday when the NAM's leadership and a certain cleric visited the Senate president, he was pleading with them not to disrupt their political activities. He wasn't telling them that he's concerned that they are not in classes. He was pleading with them not to disrupt their political activities, not to barricade the roads, that they should not go confrontational, that they should allow primaries to go on, that he was going to get ASU back to the negotiation table with the federal government. And then he went ahead. That is someone who is intervening, already started condemning ASU in his office yesterday. What sense will it? He has formed an opinion, telling us that the 2009 agreement was signed in error, telling us that the content of the 2009 agreement is implementable. He said so with his lips to the leadership of NANS yesterday in his office. So that is a man whose opinion is formed. And I will avail you a copy of the 2009 agreement so that Nigerians will see what is unimplementable in the 2009 agreement. Will it be imaginable that a Senate president will bring up 100 million naira and tell us that his friends bought phone for him to go and contest the presidency?
Almost everyone.
Are we fools?
They are buying for them.
Are we fools? Are we irrational? And he's telling us that the 2009 agreement was signed in error. Between the federal government and ASU, who could put one under duress? Who could put one under duress? And that same thing they used to do to us, they tell us suspend the strike first so that we'll negotiate. This strike will not be suspended until implementation is done.
Let's look at the plight of the Nigerian students.
Yes, if we suspend the strike, we are not doing the Nigerian students any good. Because the same things we are complaining about, the improvement of the education sector will remain the same. If the salaries of their teachers is not enhanced, you continue to hear the kind of vices and sharp practices you hear in the universities. You continue to hear that. If they have no facilities to learn, if they have no lecture theaters, if they have no good places to lay their heads, will they see good dreams and wake up fresh and go to class and listen and comprehend? If this strike is suspended, ASU will be unpatriotic. If this strike is suspended, it means that ASU is telling the Nigerian students we do not love you. But because we love them, we will insist on the right thing to be done until our demands are met.
Let's look at all of these continuous strike in Nigeria and the potential brain drain that we could be experiencing in the educational sector.
That is exactly what we are trying to prevent. That is exactly what we are trying to prevent. That is exactly what we are trying to prevent. A situation where even a Ghanaian cannot leave Ghana and come to teach in Nigeria. Because if he teaches in Ghana and if he teaches in Nigeria, the galloping gap between what he will get in Nigeria and in Ghana will not allow him to come to Nigeria to teach. These were Ghanaians who were trooping down to Nigeria to teach yesteryears. You can, is it even Cameroon? Is it, where are you going? Who will you find? You want to find an American come to Nigeria to teach in a Nigerian university? Will you even have an office to stay in? And it doesn't concern these people. So why wouldn't there be brain drain? Why wouldn't there be? If you move out of this country, see the kind of treatment our medical doctors are getting from Saudi Arabia. I know tens. Let me not exaggerate. Let me not say what I cannot defend. But I know tens, not hundreds. Tens of them who have left from here, from Calabar. They are in Saudi Arabia. I know how they are treated over there. Why wouldn't they leave? Why wouldn't they leave? And that is what we are trying to prevent, sir. That is what ASUU is saying. Let all of this eventually, it will first affect the common man on the street, the poor Nigerian masses. Eventually, even you, these selfish leaders, it will swallow you up.
Dr. Edo, let me quickly find out this, because we saw the other time during the 2019 elections that's been the current trend provided by the Electoral Act, using professors to midwife elections, as returning officers. And at some point we've had, it's been alleged that profs or some of your colleagues, have been used to rig elections. So these guys who would not even have them at the back of their minds when they finally get there. How can, because the election is coming up in a matter of months, how can your colleagues, seeing what they are going through, how can they stand their ground and say, if you don't do this for us, we would not be a part of the process of midwifing you to take a leadership position in Nigeria?
Let me correct an impression. There is no provision of the Electoral Act that says that academics shall be used as returning officers, INEC ad hoc staff. There is no such provision. It's just a practice that came with Professor Atahiru Jiga when he was appointed the INEC chairman. Before Atahiru Jiga, when he started using academics, elections were going on. If academics stop taking part in elections, beginning from next year's election will go on. After all, before Atahiru Jiga, elections were going on. And to talk about, I'm happy the term you use, that it has been alleged that some professors, let them be treated as such. Let them be treated as such. Any professor, any academic who goes to partake in the rigging of an election, it should be treated as such. The laws are there. Some people have even talked about setting up electoral offences tribunal, as if the act as it is right now does not contain electoral offences. The act as it is right now has provisions on electoral offences and the sanctions therein. So any academic, any professor who is found culpable of any sharp or malpractice should be shown the way.
Okay, ASUU chairman, let's get to talk about your colleagues. We saw a practice now that no work, no pay. And for about 2 months or 3, your colleagues have not been paid. Wouldn't it worry you that, or the ASUU national body, that some of their colleagues are suffering, even when they have legitimate,
not some of our colleagues, all of us. But let me tell you, we are not deterred. Our resolve is as firm as the rock of Gibraltar. We are not deterred. Have you forgotten what happened in 2020? The year of the pandemic? For 9 months, we were not paid. Is it now that we can go out and do a garden and look for something and do to be able to feed? They can keep their salaries. They can keep their salaries. This strike, this one is the battle of our lives. This particular action is an action that we are not ready to make unnecessary. It is the battle of our life. For the liberation of the soul of education in Nigeria. For the liberation of the poor masses for the liberation of the common man. This strike is the battle of our life, and we are fighting it as such.
So while we're waiting for this liberation, what will be your word for students? Because I think there are, aside your colleagues who are partly suffering, the students as well are also suffering.
They are suffering too.
Yeah, so what will be your
They are
word
our
for them?
children.
Yeah.
Yes. They should join hands with ASU. They should see it that this battle is in their own interest. This battle is not a selfish battle. It is a patriotic battle. It is a patriotic clarion call for the liberation of education, which is in the interest of the common man. How many Nigerians can afford to go to private universities? Not to talk of sending their children or wards outside of this country. It is these public universities that are meant for us. And we are not second fiddle people. We are the people of the Federal Republic of, we are citizens. We are bona fide citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That we are not rich does not make us second-class citizens. We have the right to life, we have the right to expression, we have the right to education, we have the right to free religion, we have the right to association, we have all the rights that they have. It doesn't make us second-class citizens. They can go to whatever school they want to. We too should go to the one that our government should afford for us, should make available for us.
Dr. Barrister Edo John Edo, ASU Chairman, Unical Branch, many thanks for your time on the show. We would definitely still bring you back to give us more updates on the ASU strike. But in the meantime, we just want to hope that there should be a light at the end of the tunnel. The federal government should, as a matter of urgency, talk with your body and see that you're back to school and the students are also back to school. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. And that's our prayer. Even the media, join hands with us. Let us liberate education.
Definitely. It's in the Good Morning Cross River. We had a talk there with the ASU chairman on the ASU strike, Dr. Barrister Edo John Edo. Stay with us. Good Morning Cross River. Return shortly.